and welcome back to my series on how to play great songs. Today I'm going to cover Tropez by Pink Floyd, a nice breezy jazzy number for the upcoming summer months. Tropez starts with this lead-in chord of D7, played for two measures of 4/4. Then it goes to a G major 7. That's the third fret on the 6th string, the low E string, 3rd fret, and then the 2nd fret of the high E string, 1st string, and then strings 2, 3, and 4 are open, and the 5th string, the A string, is being muted by your middle finger here on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So you mute that string, and then the other ones ring out. So that's your G major 7th chord, and that's your bass home chord throughout the song. You start each verse here. So for the first verse, you start out with 3 measures of the G major 7. Followed by this second chord, which is a G minor 6. You keep your middle finger on string 6, 3rd fret, and starting with the 2nd string, you got your pinky on fret 3. The 3rd string, you got your ring finger on fret 3. The 4th string, you got your pointer finger on fret 2. The 5th string is muted by your middle finger, just like before. 1st string rings open, and this is the G minor 6. And those are the 2 major chords that go throughout the verse. So you start with 3 measures of G major 7, followed by 2 measures of this G minor 6. So I'll go ahead and play that for you, starting with the intro. As I reach for a peach, slide a ride down behind the sulphur in Tropez, breaking a stick with a brick on the sand, riding a wave in the wake of an old sedan. And that's all it is for the first verse, just those 2 lines there, and then you jump into this G7, a G dominant 7, which is barring the 3rd fret and playing this 7th chord. All the chords on the bridge section are going to be dominant 7th chords. So the first one is G7, and then you go to A7, C7, D7, and then for the second measure of the D7 chord, you pull off the 1st string to leave the 1st string open, and that serves as kind of a lead-in chord to get you back to your home chord, which is your G major 7. So going through the bridge, starts with this G7, sleeping alone in the drone of the darkness, scratched by the sand that fell from my love, deep in my dreams, and I still hear her calling, if you're alone, I'll come home. And then you're ready for the second verse there, which the timing of the second verse is a little different than the first and the third verses. The first and the third verses are kind of the same, but the second verse has a little bit of a timing difference. The chords are the same, but instead of 3 measures of G major 7, you start with just 2 measures of the G major 7, followed by 2 measures of the G minor 6. So when you get to the second verse, the timing is like this. Backwards and homebound, pigeon, the dove, gone with the wind and the rain on an airplane, owning a home with no silver spoon, drinking champagne like a big tycoon. And then the bridge part is the same as before. Sooner than wait for a break in the weather, I gather my far-flung thoughts together, speeding away on a wind to a new day. If you're alone, I'll come home. And then you go into an instrumental section where there's a guitar solo, and the timing of that is similar to verse 2, where you just two measures of G major 7, 2 measures of G minor 6. So 2 measure of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the guitar solo does go through the bridge section. A7, C7, and then D7, and then the pull off. And notice there's different ways to play that bridge section. Typically what I tend to do when I'm singing the verses, I'll use the open versions of the song. Starting with this bar chord G7, which I think is the best way to play the G7 each and every time. You can either go to this open version of the A7 or just slide it 2 frets up to this version of the A7. You got C7 here, C7 here, D7 here, D7 here. If I could pick it right. Okay. But typically I like to end up on this D7 right here, because then you can do the pull-off chord and go nice and easy into that G major 7th, which starts each section anew. So we've gone through the first 2 verses and then the first 2 bridges, and then the instrumental section, which at first is a guitar solo. And after the guitar solo, you come out with the 3rd verse, which timing wise is, like I said, like the first verse. And I pause for a while by a country store and listen to the things they say, digging for gold with a hoe in my hand. Open the book, take a look at the way things stand. And the 3rd bridge, and you're leading me down to that place by the sea. I hear a soft voice calling to me, making a date for later by phone. If you're alone, I'll come home. Instrumental. Piano solo this time. And this is how they fade out. With just the piano going. So you can kind of figure out what you want to do. But the rest of the song is just a fade out with the piano solo going. And it does go into the bridge while the piano is going. So that is all you need to know to play Tropez. Thank you for watching me teach you how to play Pink Floyd's Tropez. Stay tuned for more guitar tutorials, as I am trying to get this channel back up and running again.